Hello learners, I am Dr. Rekha Sharma, Associate Professor UGC Human Resource Development Center, Rashtra Sant Tukaji Maharaj, Nagpur University, Nagpur. Today we will study classification of functional foods and nutraceuticals. The number of purported nutraceutical substances is in the hundreds, and some of the most common known substances include carotenoids, polyphenols, fibers, curcumin and allyl sulfur compounds. In light of a long and growing list of nutraceutical substances, organization systems are needed to allow for easier understanding and application. This is particularly true for academic instruction as well as product formulation by food companies. Depending upon one's interest and or background, the appropriate organizational scheme for nutraceuticals can vary. Whether it is for academic instruction, clinical trial design, functional food development or dietary recommendations, nutraceutical factors can be organized in several ways. In the present module, we shall study different types of classifications of functional foods and nutraceuticals. Functional foods may be classified in various ways and can be identified, selected on the basis of their properties, clinical significance or composition. Some of the important criteria employed for classification of functional foods are food source, nutrient and non-nutrient source, organ system, modifications in food, specific foods, mechanism of actions and chemical nature. Now let us start with the first part, classification A, classification based on food source. One of the broader models of organization for nutraceuticals is based upon their potential as a food source to humans. Here nutraceuticals may be separated into plant, animal and microbial groups. Plant derived functional foods are separated into primary and secondary metabolites. Primary metabolites are plant compounds necessary for growth, while secondary metabolites are not essential for growth but are used for plant survival mechanisms. Primary metabolite include plant proteins, beta-glucans and omega-3 fatty acids. Secondary metabolite include phytoestrogens, antioxidants, vitamins, tocopherols, steroids and gamma-linolenic acid. Animal derived functional foods are zoochemicals, which are animal derived and include omega-3 and omega-6 fatty acids. They also include conjugated linolenic acid and small peptides, whey and casein and glucosamine. Omega-3 fatty acids include alpha-linolenic, docosahexaenoic acid and eicosapentaenoic fatty acids. Omega-6 fatty acids include linoleic, gamma-linoleic and arachidonic fatty acids. Microbial functional foods. Microbial derived functional foods include probiotics, prebiotics, symbiotics and synbiotics. The new food has been included and that is postbiotics. Now let us see what are these probiotics. Probiotics are a mono or mixed culture of microorganisms which when ingested in certain amounts has a positive impact on host health beyond conventional nutritional effects. These stimulate the growth of certain other bacteria in the colon, thereby improving health. Bacteria most often used as probiotics are lactobacillus and bifidobacteria, which can be given along with the fermented foods, for example yogurt, fermented vegetables or meat. Next is prebiotics. Prebiotics are ingredients or compounds that have a beneficial effect on microflora in the large intestine of the host, for example fiber, fructooligosaccharides, lactulose, sugar, alcohol. Generally, they are carbohydrate that may be fermented in the large bowl and stimulate growth of potentially beneficial bifidobacteria. The most prevalent forms of prebiotics are nutritionally classed as soluble fiber. Let us see what are symbiotics and synbiotics. Symbiotics contain probiotics and prebiotic combined randomly, while synbiotics contain specific probiotics and prebiotics mixed together to benefit one another. Because the word alludes to synergism, this term should be reserved for product in which the prebiotic compound selectively favors the probiotic compound. For example, a product containing oligofructose and probiotic bifidobacteria would fulfill the definition. Now next is postbiotics. Postbiotics are the non-viable bacterial products or metabolic byproducts that have biologic activity in the host. General postbiotics include bacterial metabolic byproducts such as bacteriocins, organic acids, ethanol, diacetyl, acetaldehyde and hydrogen peroxide. But it is also found that certain heat-killed probiotics can also retain important bacterial structures that may exert biological activity in the host. Now next is non-food sources. Apart from plant, animal and microbial sources, there are non-food sources of nutraceuticals. Using modern fermentation methods, few nutraceuticals can also be produced. For example, amino acids and their derivatives have been produced by bacteria, eicosapentaenoic acid produced by some algae and bacteria. But now using recombinant genetic techniques, this EPA can also be produced by non-EPA producing bacteria. Now let us see the second type of classification, that is classification based on nutrient and non-nutrient components. From the nutritional point of view, they can be categorized as nutrients and non-nutrients. Nutrient sources include lipids, for example omega-3 fatty acids and conjugated fatty acids. Vitamins like folates, vitamin E, carotenoids like beta carotene and alpha carotene, then vitamin C, minerals like selenium, they come under nutrients, whereas non-nutrient sources include fiber, that is soluble and insoluble fibers, phenolic compounds which includes phenolic acids, flavonoids, catechins and tannins, non-digestible oligosaccharides, that is fructanes, galacto-oligosaccharides, isomaltose oligosaccharides, xylo-oligosaccharides, then phytosterols, glucosinolates, carotenoids which includes lutein and cryptoxanthins, lycopene and organosulfur compounds. Now the third type of classification is classification based on organ or organ system. Another classification is by target organ or system benefited. This is of clinical relevance especially with regard to treatment and management of various diseases. Examples of functional foods on the basis of their beneficial impact on different organ systems have been depicted here. For cardiovascular system, the functional foods are omega-3 fatty acids, polyphenols, micronutrients and soluble fibers. For gastrointestinal tract, the functional foods are prebiotics, soluble and insoluble fibers, probiotics, polyphenols and phytates. For kidney, the functional food is fructans. For immune system, the functional foods are prebiotics, probiotics, nutrients, omega-3 fatty acids and polyphenols. For skeletal system, the functional food is fructans. Let us conclude, learner. In this part, we have studied the classification of functional foods and nutraceuticals according to food source, nutrient and non-nutrient source and organ system. According to food source, they are classified as plant, animal and microbial sources. According to nutrients, they are classified as lipids, vitamins and minerals, and as per non-nutrient into fiber, phenolic compounds, non-digestible oligosaccharides, phytosterols, glucosinolates, carotenoids like lycopene, organosulfur compounds, etc. And according to target organ, functional foods are classified on the basis of their beneficial impact on different organ systems, for example gastrointestinal tract, cardiovascular system, kidney, immune system and skeletal system.